Good day, everyone. We will be starting in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, a few house rules. Kindly follow the Zoom naming format that you see on the screen. It has your organization underscore your full name. All participants are asked to be on mute, but please kindly open your video or camera. This virtual press conference will also be recorded. We encourage media guests to stay on until the end of the portion of the program to win special prizes care of our event partner, Philippine Airlines. Good day and welcome everyone to the 2021 Philippine International Dive Expo, Our Sea, Our Story press conference. I'm Kat Trevino, your moderator for today. We're glad that you were able to make it to our event and support the Philippine diving industry. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of our media guests from around the globe who took the time to join us this morning. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of the following individuals from the Department of Tourism today, our regional directors, Philippine Commission on Sports Scuba Diving, Commissioner Bowman Cao, our panelists, Assistant Secretary Verna C. Buensuceso from Product and Market Development, Undersecretary Benito C. Bengzon Jr. from the Tourism Department, and of course, Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat. Thank you all once again for being here. To begin our program, I'd like to give a floor to our very own Tourism Secretary, Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat for her welcome remarks.
Okay, good day, Department of Tourism officials, fellow ocean lovers, dive enthusiasts, and sea explorers, and our distinguished guests from all parts of the globe. Welcome to the virtual edition of the Philippine International Dive Expo. I am thrilled to be officiating the opening of this event, the largest platform in the country for gathering and mobilizing industry experts stakeholders, and divers in one communal space. We are here to foster the collaboration of innovative ideas, sustainable solutions, and economic opportunities. With the gradual activation of dive travel and tourism in various parts of the country and around the world, an event such as this is even more crucial for the recovery of the dive industry. As the Philippines is widely recognized by scientists as the center of marine biodiversity, it is fitting that we lead the region in mounting an event that reflects the world class diving destinations that we are promoting. With the theme Our Sea, Our Story, this event aims to raise awareness not only in the Philippines' rich and biodiverse seas, but also of the different initiatives that contribute to the growth and development of our dive tourism industry. These are the efforts that sustain our standing as a leading dive destination in the world. The Department of Tourism recognizes that diving is a major tourism product and hopes to further grow its industry in the country through an event that advocates for the sustainability of our marine environment. PHIDEX is also distinct from other dive shows as it is the only one with a dive travel exchange or TRAVEX, a B2B program solely for the dive market, along with post familiarization trips to complement the trade expo. Through these event components, we underscore the Philippines' competitive advantage in the region, both as a dive destination and as a dive travel business hub. Our counterpart operators and media will get to see and experience our dive products and services firsthand in order to sell and promote these more effectively. Our dive conferences, panel discussions, and presentations feature renowned global experts who will share their experiences and knowledge on a variety of subjects and interests involving dive tourism recovery, industry sustainability, underwater photography, marine conservation, and more. Our virtual marketplace enables consumers and buyers to make sustainable and smart choices when purchasing deals for diving experiences and equipment. Through this virtual platform, we are able to go beyond borders with a strong and growing presence in the international dive scene through the participation of buyers from 16 of our source markets, namely Australia, China, France, Indonesia, Israel, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Netherlands, Spain, Thailand, Turkey, UK, and the USA. From our end, we are honored to have operators representing our top and emerging dive destinations. Anilao in Batangas, Panglao, Balikasag, and Kabilao in Bohol, Mualboal and Malapascua in Cebu, Coron and Tubataha in Palawan, Dawin in Negros Oriental, Sipalay in Negros Occidental, Camiguin and Misamis Oriental, Davao, Donsol in Sorsogon, and Ticao Island in Masbate, with health and safety protocols in place to ensure the safe reopening of our destinations. We are taking this opportunity to pivot towards sustainable solutions in the recovery of our destinations. The program and lineup of activities over the next 3 days will cover topics such as conservation through adventure and wildlife photography, science based conservation, exploration of our heritage wrecks and underwater caves, free diving and marine conservation, dive training, agency and product updates from our global dive partners, and work opportunities for dive professionals, to name a few. Tourism will only be sustainable when we commit to protect our marine resources. We see divers as our allies in this advocacy, as the diving community is often at the forefront of environmental protection initiatives. Let us continue to work together toward the vision of developing and promoting the Philippines as a premier diving destination. We thank all the participants, our speakers, event partners, buyers, and media for your enthusiasm and support for our virtual offering of the Philippine International Dive Expo. We are all here because of the love we share for the ocean and marine life. We hope to build a fruitful relationship with all of you as we navigate industry recovery in the next normal for a stronger and more competitive Philippine dive tourism industry. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay.
Thank you so much for those wonderful words, Secretary Romulo Puyat. I'm getting goosebumps hearing about the reopening of the Philippine dive destinations and DOT's commitment to protecting them as well. Now, you may be wondering what PHIDEX has in store for all of us this weekend. As mentioned by Secretary Berna, the Philippine Dive Expo is the country's only dive trade and consumer event. It is the largest platform for the diving community in the country, putting together industry experts, stakeholders, dive enthusiasts in one virtual communal space to bring about the necessary collaboration for innovative ideas, sustainable solutions, and economic opportunities. It has three major components. First is our dive conference and panel discussions. Self-explanatory, guys, with industry experts giving talks and presentations online over the weekend. The topics range from dive tourism to industry sustainability, marine conservation, underwater photography, and more. The second is our marketplace, a one stop hub and retail outlet for dive consumers to get the best deals on equipment, accessories, and even dive experiences from exhibitors, resorts, operators, shops, dealers, and agencies. The third is the Dive Travel Exchange, or TRAVEX, or business to business meetings, which will allow Philippine dive tourism suppliers to connect and discuss business opportunities and partnerships with international buyers. It's our hope that through this year's PHIDEX, you are able to find everything diving that you want and need. Now, we will take questions that our guests from the media have sent in advance. This is a question from Christian Marfori from BuzzSetter. Secretary Berna, what are the challenges in going digital, and how are we able to bring the same excitement and experience to participants this year?
We all know we've had a difficult, 2020 and 2021, and going digital has provided us with a silver lining. We are able to still connect despite all the travel restrictions. Going virtual allows us to ensure safety while providing a venue for stakeholders to conduct business, while it also imposes an unprecedented way of participation that, of course, requires adapting to. To assist stakeholders with this adjustment, we have rolled out a series of training sessions for participating exhibitors to learn how to navigate the platform and maximize its functions. So, in addition to networking opportunities on this platform that will allow stakeholders, dive enthusiasts, and ocean lovers to reconnect, we have also invited internationally renowned and award winning resource persons to share stories and experiences on various dive related topics. So I think we have here notable names that have confirmed for the event. Our California Academy of Sciences curator, Dr. Terry Gosliner, French-British underwater photographer Henley Spears, Emmy Award-winning husband and wife documentary team Howard and Michelle Hall, PADI Ambassador and PCSSD Commissioner Bo Mancao, and I believe he's with us right now
Yes.
in this press con. University of the Philippines marine economist and community scientist Tara Abrina, and German underwater photographer Tobias Friedrich, to name a few. So I will allow the other panelists to also say what they have to say to answer this question.
We can start with ASEC, Verna. Oh, you're on mute.
Asik Verna, you're on mute.
You're on mute. There. ASEC, we still can't hear you.
Here you go.
There
Good
we
morning
go.
to everyone. Okay. Aside from what the secretary has said, we'd like to say that, to maximize the valuable presentations conducted here, the platform that we're using will be open until June 20 to 21. 2021. So for on-demand viewing of all presentations, participants or people who are interested in looking into the Philippine diving can access all these interesting presentations through this platform. So it actually expands our presence in the digital space, and it will show us more. It will provide exposure to all our different Philippine dive destinations in this digital space. Thank you.
Thank you, ASEC. USEC?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Secretary. Just to add to what Secretary Huyat already mentioned, I also wanted just to highlight a couple of things. One is that diving is a priority in the National Tourism Development Plan of the Philippines, and this initiative is really in sync with our strategic thrust to position the Philippines competitively, not only in Asia but around the world. And speaking of competitiveness, I also want to share to this body that during the 27th World Travel Awards, the Philippines was named as the world's best diving destination. So that is something that we are very proud of and something that we would like to highlight in this Philippine International Dive Expo. Thank you.
Thank you, USEC. Commissioner Bo?
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me. Yes, it's to add to USEC Bong's report, it is true the Philippines is very hot right now for scuba diving. And in my prediction, it's going to get even hotter. So PHIDEX 2021 is just going to boost that and give us the kickstart that we need.
Okay, thank you. I'm very excited for everything that's to come for PHIDEX. Going on to our next question. I'd love to turn over this question also to Commissioner Bo. How are the DOT and the diving community currently protecting our marine ecosystem, especially with the alarming incidences of coral bleaching? Is there any specific LGU project worth mentioning?
Hi, thanks for that question, Krista. The DOT, the Commission, and the dive stakeholders have been doing a lot of projects in different areas that tackle different issues of the ocean. For one is DOT especially has been raising awareness of coral bleaching as one thing and other issues. Now, I do have a talk, and this is a shameless plug. I do have a talk on Sunday about these issues, and I've got 40 minutes to tackle that. So I'd really like to invite to see you guys there. That's Sunday at 5 p.m.
Everybody will most definitely tune in to that, Commissioner Bo. Next question from Lizette Zambrano. And this is for Secretary Berna. How are the media based abroad able to contribute and participate in PHIDEX event and future DOT campaigns, given that there are traveling restrictions imposed worldwide?
PHIDEX aims to continuously provide the dive tourism industry with the necessary market and product development support despite all the travel restrictions brought by the pandemic. This year, as we've said, PHIDEX launches its virtual edition, going beyond physical borders and reaching the diving community across the globe. Participation, of course, is free of charge. Tickets may be booked through, I'm sure you've already been mentioning where they can book. the tickets. The virtual edition of PHIDEX brings all the components of a physical dive show to digital space, making it accessible to anyone with an internet connection. The show remains distinct from other dive shows as the only dive expo organized by an NTO that also exclusively mounts a dive travel exchange, Travex, or a B2B program, which allows sellers and buyers to connect and network for business leads generation through pre-matched online appointments and generated through this platform.
Oh my
I
goodness.
know Yusek Bong or Commissioner Bo or Asik Verna.
Yes, Secretary, if I may add, the Philippine International Dive Expo also offers the participants with expansive networking prospects for decision makers, communities, and individuals with a passion for all things with the following components. The marketplace, as has been mentioned already, this is a one hub and retail outlet for dive consumers to research and explore the latest deals for dive holidays, promotional offerings, for dive equipment and accessories offered by the different exhibitors. Of course, we also have the dive conference and panel discussions. Bo already mentioned it earlier. The talks and presentations through online video conferencing platform featuring the renowned global experts that the Secretary mentioned earlier. So these experts will expound on a variety of subjects, interesting subjects and interests involving dive tourism, underwater photography, which the Philippines is known for, marine conservation, and of course, sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusek. ASEC?
Well, we'd also like to thank all the media partners who are here with us today. As you can see, I think from the list, you see also representatives from our international media outlets, right?
Yes.
So this is proof that we are able to reach out to our international media as well as the domestic media through this digital platform. So it actually, as I said earlier, it expands our exposure worldwide. So we'd like to invite our media partners really to help us boost visitor traffic into PHIDEX this year, into the very interesting discussions, and also to meet our exhibitors in the expo space that's provided online. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ASEC. As Secretary Berna also mentioned, this whole thing, PHIDEX, is completely free. So please promote. You can register to the 3-day event at phidex.asia. On to our next question. Now, aside from hosting the expo to raise awareness on how the industry was impacted by the pandemic, what steps are being done to help the industry recover? Secretary?
In addition to PHIDEX, the DOT's dive program includes product development initiatives to upskill dive professionals and provide alternative livelihood sources for underprivileged Filipinos to find employment in the dive industry through the Dive Spotters Training Program and the Dive Masters Training Program, which the Department of Tourism will roll out in top and emerging dive destinations such as Camiguin and Puerto Galera within the year.
You have anything additional also? USEC, ASEC?
Well, just to quickly mention that the Dive Spotters training program is particularly important for us because it's our way of reaching out to local communities and providing livelihood to those people who were displaced and affected by the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, USEC.
I'd also like to add that, as mentioned earlier by the Secretary, we've also done a number of dive updates through webinars. This is our intent to reach out also to our stakeholders in the different dive communities. So earlier this year, we did dive updates on destinations like Anilao, Mualbual, Malapascua, and Dumaguete. It's our way to really reach out and be in touch with our industry stakeholders.
Thank you. You know, we talked a lot about the PHIDEX, the event, and also how you're promoting the sustainability and reaching out to our international market as well. But I'd like to go back to the beginning. How is the diving tourism industry coping now amid the pandemic? How many stakeholders or workers in the sector have been affected, and how many establishments have already been reopened? This question was actually asked by several of our media partners.
Yeah, of course, we've known that since March 2020, we've had a 100% closure.
Mm.
Quarantine restrictions were eased last July of 2020, but recreational diving only actually started in October 2020, following the issuance of the PCSSD health and safety guidelines. To date, I'm looking at it, 288 have applied. Uh, 288 establishments have applied for PCSSD accreditation as part of their requirements to reopen their businesses. 140 have accreditation and certificates of accreditation. Candidate will thus be allowed to operate.
Very exciting. Commissioner Bo?
Hi, yes. So um, for Region 7, the whole island of Cebu is now open. The province of Cebu is open for dive tourism, as well as Negros and Siquijor. Um, and it's slowly coming back. So we are gearing up for a good summer, and not to spill the beans, but there could be more events that the DOT is planning, and we'll just stay tuned for that.
Thank you, Commissioner and Secretary. Now to the next question asked by Alex San Juan of Manila Bulletin. With the rollout of vaccines, how are we seeing the country's diving industry going back to normal this year?
It's not only for the diving industry. With the rollout of the vaccines, of course, this will gain confidence for people to travel, for people to go around, and for people to have a more normal life. So it's not only for diving, but for the whole tourism industry.
Thank you for that.
But
Next question.
can answer if they want.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes.
If I may
Yes,
add, Secretary, I think one thing that makes the dive segment very special is that the drive to dive is very, very strong. I think that is one thing that really differentiates.
Vaccine.
Yes, so I think we can position ourselves very competitively. 7,641 islands, a lot of options for our travelers. Thank you.
Very true. Yusek Bong hit the nail on the head there. A lot of our clientele, our agents, we've been seeing them post online that they are already on their second phase of the vaccine. They're very ready and they're rearing to come.
ASEC, would you?
Yes, well, we're really looking forward to, the exodus of our dive stakeholders coming into the country, because in terms of disposable incomes, the studies have shown that they have higher disposable income, and they're really willing to pay a premium to dive in our, in the center of marine biodiversity in the world, which is the Philippines.
Yes. Okay, thank you for those answers. Next question. Okay, this is a long one. Let's get it in two parts. This is asked by Neil Jerome Morales from Reuters. Even before the pandemic, there's already a growing interest and awareness on sustainable tourism. How have we used this pandemic-driven halt in tourism to set up mechanisms meant to boost sustainable tourism? And as a follow-up to that, what sustainable tourism activities will welcome our tourists particularly in terms of the diving experience? Secretary?
First, well, of course, the culture of creating a culture of sustainable tourism has always been the core of our advocacy since the closure and rehabilitation of Boracay Island back in 2018. While the pandemic has allowed our destinations to heal from the effects of over-tourism, we in the Department of Tourism see this as the best time to re-educate and collaborate with all the different local government units and as the stakeholders on responsible tourism practices, starting with individual collective efforts towards a greener future. Um, Aside from this, I think the others can mention about the diving, but we have other programs to continue our advocacy for sustainable tourism. We have the Sustainable Tourism Development Project with the Asian Development Bank. We have the Sustainable, Inclusive, and Resilient Tourism Project for Bohol, Siquijor, and Siargao Island with the World Bank. Plastic upcycling and waste management movement with the hospitality sector. The Anahaw Philippine Sustainable Tourism Certification to help hotels and resorts around the country to shift to a green economy with more sustainable operations. We've had our Save Our Spots campaign to instill a sense of responsibility in those traveling to all our tourist destinations. Now, these projects are designed to address the key challenges confronting local tourist destination management, namely environmental degradation and natural disasters. With the dive, I will leave it up to our Commissioner Bowman Cao.
Thank you, Secretary. So to give you an idea of what's happening on the ground, different dive destinations have been doing different projects. For example, in Malapascua, they have taken the time, since a lot of the dive pros don't have any work, they have organized themselves and taken the time to add and install proper mooring and marker buoys. So these mooring buoys, it prevents anchors from dropping on the reef and prevents habitat destruction. So with that being said, when our tourists come back, we're looking at a healthier coral reef, we're looking at more fish, and we're also supporting reef-friendly dive centers.
And Commissioner Bo, aren't really the divers the ones pushing for sustainable tourism even way back?
Very correct. The
Yes.
scuba divers are basically the frontliners when it comes to marine conservation, because they are the ones that see this right there when they go underwater. We have a lot of return guests in the Philippines, and they are the ones that notice, oh, 5 years ago it wasn't like this. Oh, we have to make a change. So a lot of the divers really do push for this, and they're ready to support.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yusek?
Well, just to provide additional inputs with respect to the question on how the pandemic has set up mechanisms to boost sustainable tourism. I think one thing that we witnessed over the last 12 months is that the pandemic has compelled many destinations to reboot or to press the reset button. And many of them are now rethinking their development approaches with respect to tourism. I think there's a consensus that the destinations will go for the low impact, low density, but high value kind of tourism, which is actually good for the Philippines, because then we're able to put a premium in our natural assets. Thank you.
Thank you. ASEC?
I would just like to add that maybe if you take a look at the topics that will be featured in our 3-day Philippine International Dive Exchange, you will see that the topics are not only about dive tourism, they're also about marine conservation. So it goes really hand in hand. So there are topics like marine protected area management and ecosystem restoration. There's a topic on promoting conservation through underwater films. There is a topic about supporting the conservation of our shark friends. So as you can see, the topics are really related to conservation efforts. So we see that really dive tourism is a mechanism for us to conserve and protect the environment in line with our Sustainable Tourism Trust.
It's a very important discussion to have, ASEC. As you mentioned earlier, we are actually the center of marine biodiversity in the world. So it's great that we have all these initiatives, all these programs that are set for the Philippines and for DOT. I will move forward to the next question, please. Okay. Can you give us, I know you shared a bit about the updates that you have with the recovery of tourism in the Philippines, but maybe you can explain more about the general update on the restriction for tourist sites and tourist related establishments in relation to the now rising COVID-19 cases. Are we going to further tighten the requirements and restrictions to entry to tourist destinations? This is from PTV4. Secretary?
The Department of Tourism stand has always been very consistent for the slow but steady reopening of our tourist destinations. Now, under MGCQ, it means that there are no active cases or no active cases of COVID, or they've already been able to contain their COVID cases. Tourism is allowed under MGCQ. The NCR now is under GCQ. So it's very important for us to be able to talk to all the different LGUs, to be able for them to implement all the health and safety guidelines. With regard to the Department of Tourism, our mandate are the establishments, the hotels, the resorts, that they comply with the health and safety protocols. Now, the decision to open an LGU and the ones that make the we of course the IATF has the minimum health and safety protocols, but basically the decision what protocols are needed for them to enter a place is entirely with the tourist destination. So the test before travel is really up to the LGU. So that's it. We just have to just work with all the LGUs that they strictly implement all these health and safety protocols. But of course, we always remind our travelers that they can only book in a DOT or PCSSD accredited establishment because all the health and safety protocols are in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. Yusek?
Well, just to add to what the Secretary mentioned, with respect to health and safety protocols, under the current situation, one thing that we really need to see on the part of the travelers is patience, cooperation, and discipline to ensure the safe restart of our tourism efforts, tourism recovery efforts. Thank you.
Thank
Can
you,
I
Yusek. Asa?
Yeah,
Yes.
since we've started slow but sure reopening of tourism destinations, no outbreak of COVID because of tourism. Never. Not because of tourism. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Asek? I think you're on mute, Asek.
Oh, sorry. I agree
There we
that
go.
health and safety protocols are really important, and observing them will really keep everybody safe, yourself and also the people around you who you interact with.
And Commissioner Bo?
Yes, so for a general update, PCSSD and DOT have health and safety guidelines already out there. They've been out there for a while. And if you come to a resort that already has these guidelines, has this accreditation, you feel another level of safety knowing that they have not only taken care of your room or your stay, but also for their staff. So, and when it comes to are we going to tighten requirements for tourists, I can't answer that.
Okay.
But Kat, it's very important for all those who want, especially for Holy Week,
Yeah.
for all travelers to understand that a lot of the tourist destinations ask for tests before travel. Now, even if you're negative for COVID, this is not a license for you to party, to do mass gatherings, to do whatever you want to do. You really have to follow the minimum health and safety protocols. Wear a mask, face shield, especially when it's enclosed. Keep your distance, especially when you see somebody you haven't seen in a long time. You have to keep your distance because you don't know where they came from. You stick to your bubble, and you always wash your hands or sanitize. Always. The vaccine is already there. They're already rolling it out. Konting tiis na lang. konting we just have to follow those basic minimum health and safety protocols. We've been at this for a year already. Unlike last year, we now know what to do. And it's been proven that if you follow the minimum health and safety protocols, you will be able to travel safely, but always be cautious.
Thank you so much, Secretary. Very true. We cannot afford to let our guard down, especially when we want to enjoy all these wonderful things that the Philippines has to offer. This concludes now our question and answer segment. For those that have follow-up questions, you may also email Ms. Sabrina Corpus of Ripple 8 for your questions. We'd now like to invite everyone for a quick photo op. May we call on again the panelists on our virtual stage to please be ready for your photo, followed by a photo with our media guests.
Okay, smile. 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So we're gonna be taking photos of everyone. So please open your videos. Okay. In 2 parts. So just keep those smiles with your masks. Put it in. And 1, 2, smile. One more. Ready? 1, 2, smile. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panelists, Secretary Berna, ASEC Verna, USEC, and Commissioner Bo. Before we wrap up our media event, we'd like to now announce the winners of our raffle. The winner will receive round-trip tickets to a domestic destination courtesy of Philippine Airlines. And the winners are raffle winner number 1, Neil Jerome Morales of Reuters News. Congratulations. Winner number 2, Karen Flores from ABS-CBN News Online. And our last winner, Michelle Soliman of Business World. Congratulations. Congratulations, everyone. Neil Jerome Morales, Karen Flores, and Miss Michelle Soliman. You will receive a message from us with instructions on how to claim your prize. As Secretary Berna said, please do travel, but travel safely. Follow the protocols, okay? Keep your mask on, your face shield, and wash your hands. Once again, we'd like to thank all of you for being part of this year's PHIDEX Our See, Our Story Media Press Con. To close our press con, we'd like to invite our panelists to give just a few parting words. We can start with Commissioner Bo.
Thank you guys for coming. And we, from the Commission, are very excited to see you at PHIDEX. There's an amazing lineup of speakers. There's that Travel Expo, the B2B, and of course, a lot of talks and connections and networks you can make while there. See you guys at PHIDEX, and soon see you underwater.
Thank you, Commissioner. ASEC Verna.
Okay. We'd like to thank our media partners, our speakers, exhibitors, buyers, and sponsors for supporting PHIDEX 2021. Without you, this event would not be possible. And to our media partners, please help us continue to promote PHIDEX 2021 to boost traffic into our digital platforms. By helping boost attendance, you are supporting our efforts to restart the dive industry in the Philippines. So thank you for being our partners in Philippine tourism and Philippine dive tourism.
Thank you, ASEC. USEC Bong.
Thank you to all our media partners. And again, please help us spread the word around. Support PHIDEX 2021. And see you underwater. Thank you.
Last but not the least, Secretary Berna. You're on mute.
Yes, we invite everyone to drop by PHIDEX and see for yourself why the Philippines is the leading dive destination in the world 2 times in a row. Thank you and mabuhay.
Thank you, Commissioner Bo, ASEC Berna, USEC Bong, Secretary Berna, and an advance congratulations to everyone who has made PHIDEX possible. We hope that you all enjoy the events and the segments that we have in store for you throughout the weekend, as well as the special deals available at our marketplace. If you don't have your 3-day access yet, you may visit the website, phidex.asia. Make sure to share it and share with everyone so that we know and we see how exciting it is to be back underwater. Thank you so much for joining us again, and have a great day.
Good job, Kat.
Thank you.